Oh man. So this is technically my first video of 2021. Aside from the 2020 list videos that you probably still are getting. This is the first official vid of 2021. And I think that this is the fair this video fits. I usually don't do follow-up on albums, or I keep the first listens, and then I have my opinions throughout time where you guys can see where I like some tracks or I hate some tracks. But Carti is one of the favorite artists on this channel, next to Nav, next to Gunna, next to Uzi, next to Jack Harlow. There's a couple other that Roddy Ricch is also very popular on this channel. Obviously we have the Rat Pack is here, they're here as well, but I usually don't do follow-ups unless it's really asked for. A lot of people have been asking me how I feel about PLAYBOI CARTI's WLR, after listening to it. I would say I listened to it about 20 times. All right. First of all, let me explain something to you guys before we get into this review, our final verdict. Look, just because you dislike an album, that doesn't mean you can you dislike an artist as a person. All right, remember, music is separated from the person. Second of all, if you like one track from an album, that does not mean that you have converted somebody, and the fact and that doesn't mean that they love the whole album. You can like one track and still hate a body of work as a whole. So let's get that out the way. WLR. Okay. Okay. If I had to compare WLR to Die Lit, these are the two. I still have not listened to Self-Titled either. Apparently I'm going to have to go down the rabbit hole. He deserves to be called PLAYBOI CARTI after me listening to this album over and over again. Playboy Voldemort was on Die Lit. PLAYBOI CARTI was on WLR. I think that WLR is 10 times better than Die Lit, in my opinion. And there's a couple of reasons why I feel that way. And I'm going to talk to you. Look, it's opinion. It's opinion. You guys feel how you feel. I know you guys say Die Lit is a classic, whatever. I'm just saying, from what I've heard from this album and the variety that I got from this album, is why I say that this is just easily better than, Die Lit. Look, I always tell you, man, throughout the test of time, throughout music, man, the people that usually stand out are the people that's willing to experiment, people that are willing to try different things, whether it works or not. Hey, so if it doesn't work, fine. But it's always going to be stapled in people's minds when you try new things, and you try to test new sounds and become an icon or become something different, because different always stands out. Whether it's a sore thumb or whether it's an angel, it's going to stick out. I feel like with this album right here, the fact that he has so much kind of rockish vibes going on throughout, while still keeping the Die Lit sound throughout some of these, or half of the album. I think that was a good balance, between trying something new, but also reminding people that he can still do what he does as a PLAYBOI CARTI, osh gosh bagosh, baby music maker. All right, I know I like to joke around. I'm gonna throw some jokes, I'm gonna throw some jabs, but look, I gotta say for real though, on a serious note, when I gave it a first listen, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I gotta say, man, I'm actually surprised on how much a lot of these tracks grew on me. And you guys are right, man. A lot of you guys, we've been doing this music shit now, coming up on 5 years. Actually, it's coming up on 5.5 years in February. So we've been doing YouTube. Meami has been a YouTuber for 5.5 years, and obviously my music taste has changed. Music in general has changed. Hip hop has changed, and I think that as you see from an artist like a Nav, or you see an artist like a Gunna, who I thoroughly enjoy, it was only bound to happen where I was going to start liking at least some of Carti's work and not hating every single thing he puts out. I still do not appreciate the baby voice and the out of breath voices. Not for me. That's still not for me. I could not get down with the out of breath flow. Out of breath flow is straight dumpster juice gooch way. I don't think that's appealing at all. But some of you guys like that shit. I went through the album before I started this video because I wanted to really make sure. Like, how many tracks did I really like? Going through it, I listened to it at the gym, I listened to it in the car, I listened to it, how many tracks did I really like? Because I know a lot of y'all, as much as you guys hate me when I hate on Carti, or you guys enjoy my agony when I'm listening to Carti, a lot of y'all a lot of you guys genuinely want me to enjoy PLAYBOI CARTI. And I feel that. I'm trying to understand where you guys are coming from. And I gotta say, man, when I looked at the list again, and I actually went through it, I like 15 14 to 15 out of 24 tracks. That was my final verdict of what I liked and what I disliked, which I said, remember, it was my magic number, right? 15. I think that if he would have had 15 tracks on here, he would have had me, bro. I probably would have got this bitch on vinyl, honestly, because I think that where there were some of the Mosh tracks that you guys enjoyed, I did not like No Sleep, Mosh track, Stop Breathing, Mosh track, trash. But if you ask me, my favorite track on here, On That Time is that's literally the most intense track I feel like that's on this anthem. I mean, on this anthem, on this album. And speaking of anthem, Vamp Anthem also was another top 5 track on here for me. You know, yo blah, Pimp Dracula type shit. So that was another track that I enjoyed. I always say it's all about you know, if I had to reorder the album, which I feel like I would have definitely chose the better order. I think that Rockstar Made is a great anthem to start the album. I think that was a great introduction to start what he was going to do. Rockstar Made. He wants to go into that rockstar mode. I think that was a great starter. And also Go to the Moon with Kanye. I felt like that was a great track. A lot of you guys that didn't like that, Go to the Moon. Like I thought that was a great track. If you listen to the slow, first of all, shout out Slurb, shout out Slurb and Strellis. I think that I've seen you. I think Rummies did it, or Chovies might have did a couple of the Playboy Carti, but for the most part, Slurb and Strellis was killing it on the slow down. Shout out to my slow community. I loved a lot of these tracks slowed. I think that's kind of what took a turn for me when I listened to a lot of these tracks slow. That Go to the Moon, fire. I always said when Carti has a minimal runtime on a track, he doesn't, you know, overdo himself, and it actually fits. I think that I would have definitely had Vamp Anthem a little earlier. I would have mixed in some of the watery tracks with New Neon Control, you know, Play Sky Over. I would have had that a little bit earlier in the album just to kind of give it a little good mix. Felt like a little bit of the first half of the album was a lot of rock, and it kind of threw a lot of people off. That's one thing I want to say too. Kind of the Yeezus effect, not to that degree, but a Yeezus effect meaning a lot of people, especially fans of himself, of his own fan base, were hating on the album initially. And when I heard it, look, I found out that a lot of rap fans just don't like other genres. It is what it is. All right. As soon as some rock influence starts going into, or some country shit starts going into hip hop fans get really really irked, really turned off, and they're not open to it at all. I feel like that's what a lot of hip hop Twitter, hip hop listeners, rap listeners, they know is boom bap, you know, trapping and slapping and fapping and hitting with a tapping and rap. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I feel like once you put in some other genres in it, no one wants to hear that shit. So I think that kind of threw a lot of people off initially. But as the album went on, it grew on a lot of people. There was not enough Pierre on here. If I had a little complaint on here, there was not enough Pierre on here. I felt like we should have definitely seen a little bit more Pierre, because Pierre in Carti is equivalent to, you know, Weezy and Gunna. And you know, I feel like every time they get on a track together, they make some fire. Only having 3 features on here also had me a little scared initially, and, you know, it all played out. You know, Playboi Carti did his thing. I always say, look, when I do my top 10, or when you see my top 10, you know, greatest years, you know, greatest artist years, I feel like Playboi Carti is an honorable mention, even, you know, kind of top 10, because he was relevant all year, and he didn't even drop anything except one track. It was kind of crazy. Well, he dropped a track and a feature. So I feel like for him to be relevant all year and to not even drop anything until Christmas Day, I think that was kind of amazing, you know, for in music to still be relevant and not do anything. That's tough. Look at Lil Pump, what he's trying to do. He's trying to do the most right now. So I just think that the album, man, a lot of tracks grew on me. If you want to know the track that grew on me, I would say, look, again, I have no problem. Look, a lot of people think that, you know, I'm 30 years old, man. I don't have anything to fake anymore. I don't have any reason to hold my tongue. I'm already established in music. I don't need the clout. If I would have had the clout and did a video the first day, I would have made fucking $5,000. I don't care about that shit, all right? I literally get on here because I genuinely like to talk about music. I genuinely like to just speak to y'all, and I like to, you know, just be an entertainer, being a reviewer, or not a reviewer, just being dev. That's what I like being. So I have no reason to lie. It doesn't do anything for me. Your clout is not going to get my dick hard. Your clout is not going to pay my bills, all right? It is not going to pay my bills. I think that Teen X, as much as I shit on that track initially, I still do not like the lyrics. And I will admit that 645 AR version actually hits. I don't know what I'm becoming. All right, it's actually kind of confusing to me, because I did not think that track would have ever grown on me. And I think it's the beat. The beat, when I listen to it slow, we can listen to it slow right here. Y'all know how I am with the slow shit, all right? I know I didn't play a lot of slow, But if you ain't listened to a lot of slow, bro, hold on. Go to the moon. I think Team X slowed is. Oh, it's already right there. Damn.
All you need to launch a cult skate brand.
Go find me in the comments. Slur, shout out Slur. Bruh. It sounds like some I did admit it sounds like some Game Boy Color type beat back in '95, but it also sounds very gray slow, and I just think that track kind of grew on me. It's still trash. The verses is trash, but it's just something about the beat that's really catchy. And you know, music nowadays is all about catchiness, great production. That's what it's going to be about. If you had to ask me what my top 5 on here is, I should make a video. I'm gonna wait on that. My favorite track on here, though, I gotta say, you guys all know, I Love You, I Hate You. And of course, it would be a Pierre Carti track. I think that was the best track on here. It definitely reminded me a little bit of Die Lit. I do owe you guys a Die Lit part 2. If I had to give it a new rating, man, I think I would say it's a 7 out of 10. That's my final verdict. I would say it's a 7 out of 10. Again, I'm not really good at reviews. The reason I don't do reviews is because I'm not a reviewer. I'm just a nigga listening to music. But the reason I don't do reviews is because I'm not very, like, you know, I don't got that motherfucking sweet talk word play. Like, I just be on here talking my shit. You know, like, I give my testimony. I give my gospel. And I kind of just be talking to everybody. And you know, I'm kind of just more of, like, the big brother laid back type shit. You know, we in a barbershop talk. I just think the album, you know, it's going to blossom. And as tough it is for me to say that I was wrong, you know, I will admit, I was wrong. Do y'all have me? Come on, bro. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? You do not have me yet. But this album definitely exceeded my expectations after listening to it. And when I first listened to it, I said when I did the whole part 1 and part 2, I initially said I didn't like what, 13, 14 tracks of the album, so I'm probably spot on. There's only about 3 tracks that grew on me. So like I said, between the 13, 14, 15 numbers where we dabbling with, and I think that for Carti standards, you know, that's a W for both. As fans, as haters, if you want to label it as that, I think that's a W for the community of Meami. As you guys know, I usually shit on this. All right, I usually shit on this track, and between, you know, Eternal Atake and WLR, a lot of you guys asked me that question too. I still think Eternal Atake was better, but I think that Whole Lotta Red is going to stick for a lot of people. I think that Carti did exactly what he was supposed to do, and he, you know, he exceeded expectations and he delivered from his hype. You know, you got to understand, this man was hyped all of 20 what? Last 2 years, 2020, 2021, 2019. They were waiting for this WLR. So for him to kind of do that, I feel like too, like to call the album Whole Lotta Red, actually maybe that's why he was black and red. Vamp Anthem, you know, your blood, you know, Dracula's, they dress in black and red. Maybe that's why he was on his vamp shit. Maybe that's why it's a Whole Lotta Red. He felt like he was an actually vampire. So maybe that's actually sticking to the theme. I didn't actually think about the theme, you know. I did think that he could have had a better album cover. I didn't like the album cover. I thought that was pretty plain. I think Die Lit definitely had a better album cover than WLR, but I think that there was just a lot of hate that it went down first. And myself, I definitely hated on the tracks that I hated on, but I know myself. If that's how I feel initially, I'm going to tell you guys that exactly that. That's how I feel initially. I did not like those tracks, and then I'll come back around and explain to you guys that this track did grow on me, and I'll explain to you guys. I think a lot of people just don't understand that as human beings, you change. All right, you find that you like a track, then you find that you dislike a track. You liked the bitch in 2001, and then you hated the bitch in 2009. All right? You wanted Sally on Monday, and now you want Nervy on motherfucking Friday. All right? That's literally how I go. So, I think that PLAYBOI CARTI exceeded my expectations. 7 out of 10. Slowly enjoying this album as a whole. No pun intended. And I think that if he can kind of, you know, I don't know what he's going to do after this now. If he's gonna go to the punk rock shit, and then, you know, still keep his Die Lit, you know, watery, playful sound, you know, playful trap, whatever you want to call it. I think that's cool. Out of breath flow is not it though. That's it. Out of breath flow, Carti is not it. That's a negative for me. And obviously we hate Oshkosh Bagosh Gerber music, so that's a hell no for me. But again, if you guys need to hear that 645 AR remix, Ask Black Mass. Black Mass should post it. And we're going to keep it like that, man. I don't want to ramble on and try to give you a whole... Look, I just want to give you my opinion and I'll follow up because a lot of you guys were asking how I felt about the album now and how it's growing on me. And that's literally what it is. I owe you guys Die Lit Part 2. I don't know. I won't do the 3,000 likes on this, but we'll do... When we do Die Lit Part 2, we'll do 3,000 likes and then I'll listen to Self-Title. Again, I'm all about reciprocation. The way I move now on YouTube, 2021, I'm gonna make a video about it. The way I move smarter, not harder. I'm definitely moving smarter now. I'm worrying more about my health, my mental health. I'm trying to just, be alive. There's no point to make a lot of money and then die because you can't stay healthy. So I'm just trying to focus on that, trying to have a healthy balance of life and YouTube. And at the same time, work hard, trying to get my Twitch up this year. I definitely have Twitch goals this year. And, continue being that same guy I've been, trying to be humble and trying to be constant, like trying to not change. I'm never going to become Hollywood, but, I'm always going to be Dev. So that being said, man, as the Carti stands, I know that we hate each other. We have a love-hate relationship, but at the end of the day, it's all love. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for all the engagement that you guys give me, man. And Carti stands, man, you guys are just as good as the Rat Pack. I appreciate y'all, man. Heavy. Till next time, though, it's me with Dev. We out. Peace.
Very special girl. Very special girl.